Daniel Kremer, nice to see you again.
Hey, Adam Shardoff, how are you?
Good. Where are you? You're in Northern California, right?
Yes, San Francisco.
Okay, right. That's
Yeah.
what I thought I remembered, but I wanted to be sure. But you're heading to New York shortly?
Yes, I'll be heading to New York flying on November 14th, opening the film Overwhelm the Sky on the 16th. And we're playing for 3 days, and
nice.
It's which is pretty amazing because it's a 3-hour movie with no name actors, so it's
you're daring, and it's experimental. So you're how much more effectively can we market the film? No,
right? Yeah. Well,
listen. There needs to be 3-hour films that are experimental in its approach and the narrative, But where is it going to play? First, let's make sure people know.
Right. So it's the Film Noir Cinema in Greenpoint in Brooklyn.
The Film Noir.
Have you been there?
No.
Oh, it's a
shame on me.
Yeah, it's a little. I think it's the Spectacle has like 30 some seats, whereas I think this one has like 50 some or something.
Okay.
I actually haven't been there.
I see.
It's what's interesting is that I have a friend who's giving a kind of like a little seminar on his Destructible Man, which is, I guess, about the history of dummy deaths in films. And so Howard Berger, shout out to you really fast. So it so happens that we're going to be in New York at the exact same time. He's going to be presenting at the same venue a few days after, which was kind of pure chance, pure
coincidence.
That's pretty cool.
There's Beshert in the air.
Beshert, yeah. Also, for those who are interested on the Friday night that precedes our film, is kind of an underground cinema night where my friend Jared is going to be showing his amazing 35 millimeter scan of a classic counterculture film from the 70s called The Magic Garden of Stanley Sweetheart, which features Don Johnson in his first role.
In his first role?
Yes, very first role.
Oh, wow.
Predating Zachariah, first time he was ever in a movie, playing, and he happens to play the title character in this film. It was an MGM film. They were trying to cash in on the on kind of the Warhol film and the counterculture film market in that year. And
I see.
And there are actually there are a number of Warhol people who appear briefly in the film, including Joe D'Alessandro is in the background of a party sequence. Candy Darling, you can see briefly, but it's a really lost artifact of that era of film, and it's shown. So Jared happens to own what is probably the last 35 millimeter print of the film. So he actually got a really really good high quality scan that he's going to be showing the night before we show my film Overwhelm the Sky, which is pretty cool.
Okay. Oh, yes, I see it. Okay, so you're saying on Friday, November 15th, they're going to show that film?
Yes.
That film. Okay, because right now it just said, Underground Film Society, maybe they're the host of the screening, which is not your film. We're going to remind people. This is... but that's on the 15th at, I think, 9 o'clock. Your film is Overwhelm the Sky, which is at least happening on the 16th and 17th.
Yeah, there's...
And one more
put it on for one more day. Yeah.
Okay, I'm not sure I see it yet, but anyway, it's going to be at 9 o'clock at the again at Film Noir Cinema at 122 Mesrol Avenue in Greenpoint, Brooklyn. I'm going to urge everybody to go and check that out. If you have any, love or any appreciation for, is it fair to call it experimental? I think it is. I don't think it's a word we should hide behind.
I wouldn't have called it that myself. I guess it's
you describe it.
The kind of the copy line that I've been using is it's an existential epic neo-noir. Very very pretentious in its way, but it's
expressionistic in its.
I guess you could call it that. but it's a mystery. It's part mystery. It's part there's like a part crime film, part epic in a way, because it really does kind of splay out in the third hour in a way that most people don't see coming. And we've gotten unanimously great reviews, and we haven't gotten a bad one yet, which is the first for me.
That is. Where else has it? Again, it's called Overwhelm the Sky. Where else has it played?
So it opened this past year at San Francisco Independent Film Festival, or SF Indie Fest. It played at the Brussels International Film Festival. It's playing at the Three Rivers
I've heard of that
Festival.
One. Yeah,
which is in Pittsburgh.
Right, that makes sense. It's the city of Three Rivers.
What's crazy is that I didn't know this until recently. It's the longest running film festival in the state of Pennsylvania. I would have thought Philly was, but Philly, I guess, had its 28th year. This is the 37th year for Three Rivers. And what's interesting about it is that fest opened back in '82 with showing Night Riders by local George Romero, who is from Pittsburgh, I think, as many people know.
Right.
And many-time alum, I guess.
What I like about Pittsburgh is, and I don't want to get too far afield here, but it's like you're going to Pittsburgh. When you're in Pittsburgh, you're not going through Pittsburgh and stopping there. Pittsburgh isn't on the way to anywhere else, in the sense that it's if you look on a map, Pittsburgh is your destination.
Yeah, I mean, I happen to be from there originally, so this is the first film I'm bringing back home to where I grew up.
So it's coming up. Three Rivers.
Three Rivers is coming up. So I leave New York a little earlier than I'm anticipating, because I have to go to PA to open it there.
Oh, I see. So, I thought it already happened. So that's
yeah. So that's, and then we have a number of engagements after, including ones I've myself gotten booked. Happenings in Chicago, in LA, and Maryland as well. Actually, Maryland, dear Scott Braid really wanted to put the film into the Maryland Film Festival this past year, but the length was a kind of an
issue,
sticking point. So he actually contacted me after the fest and just on his own said they have a year-long venue now, so I guess they want to show the film as a Maryland Film Festival presents or selects, type of an engagement.
Mm-hmm.
We have a couple other festival engagements that I can't announce in public yet, but yeah, it's we're having a pretty good amount of success for a movie of this kind.
Right. Well, why do you? I feel lucky. You must have known how many films have you made to date? How many feature length or non-short?
So this is number 7.
That's a lot of films.
Yeah.
So having navigated the festival circuit, that 3 hours is going to be a challenge to get it into.
Yeah.
So you put the film ahead of your, let's say, festival strategy.
In a way, yes. What's interesting is that even though that I'm getting the best notices, and the I guess the more I guess better screenings of this film, at least I didn't go into it. I went into my last 2 thinking that they'd be a bit more marketable on that circuit, because Razor Kids on Seltzer, which were 2 films previous to this one, is about cults and cult deprogrammers, and had a cameo with Barry Newman, and I thought that but we got some nice write-ups and reviews and a couple nice international screenings, but didn't quite break out as much as I had hoped it would. And then the one after that was a film called Ezer Kenegdo, which featured, among other people, Josh Safdie of the Safdie brothers in a supporting role. And that film was a heartbreaker, because I guess I kept on hearing that it's really a niche project. Mm-hmm. It's about Jews and Poles and kind of shared history where they're at odds with each other. Yes. I just kept on hearing that there's not much of an audience for that, and that film just kind of withered and died in a way. Then, so by the time this project came along, I was like, okay, black and white. We're going to do black and white hell with it.
Well,
3 hours. Okay, I guess it's gonna have to be 3 hours. And not even caring. I was like, at that point, I was like, okay, I'm making this one for me, and that's the one that turned out to be.
Yeah, sure. Well, it's got to be liberating, and maybe you bring in that sense of elan or whatever you want to call it with you when you're making the film and how you put it out. So maybe you're onto something, or maybe we just need film festivals that are willing to figure out longer running times.
Well, what's interesting is that prior to applying to places or trying to go about getting waivers or attention for it or whatever, I've been basically asking fests if they're open to screening a film of that length. Often they will tell you it's like, we don't have any history of doing that ever,
right.
So I don't know how viable that is.
Right.
I normally have to go about asking fests if they're open to the idea. That's a whole other ball of wax. But yeah.
Did you kick around the idea of a festival length version?
I have one. Yeah, that's a little over 2 hours.
Okay.
And that was shown once, and it went over well, but everyone knew kind of what was missing. And it seems like every critic who has gotten to us has basically said that, you won't know that it's 3 hours. It kind of rolls right by, and it's and it earns its run times, which I was very happy to hear, because you're paranoid throughout the whole process of like, am I just being very self-indulgent? Does this merit this? And then once the critics began saying like, oh yeah, this is actually an easier, much easier watch, and one of the easier watches I've had recently.
Right. Well, that's the big secret out there. I don't think a film in of itself, coming from somebody like myself who obviously watches a fair amount, minds the running time of a film if it's great, like you're having a reaction with your film. But it's the sheer amount of number of films that people have to watch or do watch.
Right.
So when it's like a more of a quantitative type of reaction where they're just thinking, oh, a 3-hour film, how am I going to squeeze in this? It's exactly exactly what the festivals are anticipating and accommodating, that mind frame, let alone just the mathematics,
Yeah. I mean, often it does boil down to kind of time, real estate, which I think. Yeah, right. It seems that the fests love programming films that run between. I noticed a lot of like 70 to 90-minute run times, which is great. If
right, that's the
really
sweet spot.
Films. Yeah, it is.
A lot of filmmakers are either tailoring their films to the festivals because they know that's probably where they're going to get the most screenings in the life of that film, which is pretty reasonable to expect that. They know that they're increasing their chances of getting the film in those festivals. It's like it's a compromise.
I mean, I had an angle for it as well, which I think people might find interesting. I was interviewed for Filmmaker magazine about this film on the merit that we were doing. We were unveiling and presenting the film in the roadshow format, which basically involves printed programs, printed souvenir programs, overture, which we have a very wonderful original orchestral score, like a full orchestra, so we have an opening overture, we have an intermission, we have programs, and we're trying to bring back and I guess in a way that Mr. Tarantino did recently, but that's not where I got the idea. And there were a lot of people asking like, oh, did you get the idea from Tarantino? I was like, no, I've wanted to do a roadshow since I was a teenager, watching particularly Mad World, which was shown in that originally. I saw that when I was very young.
But you're talking about taking your film on the road.
Well, yeah. The literal, like, with the base of the term is roadshow. They would travel and do kind of special presentations of epic films made back in.
I see.
Back then in the 60s. So like major event films in an effort to get people out of their homes to where they were just basically watching television, kind of trying to bring them back with events, like, people would dress up for these things, which we had the Roadshow play here at the Roxy, SF, and people would come dressed up. We had a little red carpet thing. They got their programs. People were, looking through our 8-page, program right before the curtain went up, and then Overture played. And it was just this wonderful sense of ceremony about the exhibition of a film that I think has gotten increasingly lost in the intervening years.
Definitely.
So kind of bringing that back, and so that was an angle that I think, even though it was to indulge my kind of bucket list, it was an angle that I think helped us a lot in getting shows. So it was kind of an interesting marketing ploy on one level, but it was definitely a cinemaniac type of indulgence that I think people ultimately got a lot out of. So that's an angle that I think worked quite well for us.
Great, congratulations! I just like your whole thoughtful approach.
Yeah,
and it's a great way to talk about your film, but to talk about how you're presenting it and how it can help make it stand out a little bit.
Right?
It makes sense.
Right, and people kind of went out into the lobby, then out into on the sidewalk during the intermission, and I actually tended to hide from that because I didn't want I didn't want people thinking I was going to walk over and ask them, "Oh, what do you think so far?" Just really obnoxious.
Just checking in.
So
time to get.
Yeah.
You are coming back in, aren't you?
Yeah, right, yeah, and which is kind of there's an air of caution because you want a good retention rate. So we which actually was also good for us.
Right. So you're saying
people have an easy way out if they want it, but
is that something you considered?
But people stayed. I was a little worried about that at first. Yeah. Because you're never quite sure. And then, we've had really good retention rates. People have always come back in.
Oh, good.
So that's a good thing. But
it's also should mention that you do pouch their cell phones when they walk in. I'm kidding around. I'm saying you pouch the phone and you return it.
Right.
You return it during the end credits. So they're welcome to leave if that's their decision, but you don't get your phone.
Yeah.
So let's. It will
Insurance
be.
Policy.
Go to filmnoircinema.com. filmnoircinema.com, which is where
I think they're going to be putting the
Overwhelm.
Third show on the site soon. So
right.
If you can only make Monday, just hang tight.
This is so 16th and 17th, and my guess it might be Monday, or maybe they'll let us, or maybe they'll let us
definitely Monday.
They only do evening screenings.
Definitely Monday. I sound like Rain Man.
Definitely Monday.
Definitely Monday.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we talked about it. I'm hoping people will check it out. And if you're listening and you're in the Pittsburgh area, check out the Three Rivers Film Festival. When is that one?
So
that's right afterwards. That's
I'm gonna have to leave. I'm gonna be present for the show on Saturday night, and many of my compadres are going to be there for the New York show on Sunday and Monday. I'm going to have to go right on Sunday to Pittsburgh to show it there, and the website for that, they have a new website, which is THREERIVERS. So that it's the festival spelled out, essentially.
Three Rivers Festival.
Film Festival. But yeah, you'll see there's a program there. Tickets are cheap in Pittsburgh. They're only $10, which is a miracle if you live in San Francisco like I do, or if you are in New York. I think the New York show is like $15.
So threeriversfilmfestival.com.
Yes, we're Sunday night at 7 o'clock at the Harris Theater downtown. They have Guy Madden coming, I think, opening night.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah.
Love that guy. He did the podcast once, and he's now teaching or will be, I guess, if he hasn't started, at the Vermont College of Fine Arts film master's program. He's going to be on the faculty there. November 17th, here it is, at 7 o'clock p.m. at the Harris Theater, Overwhelm the Sky.
Right downtown Pittsburgh.
And you can meet Daniel Kremer.
Yeah.
And
the thrill of a lifetime.
Hey, listen, I detect a note of sarcasm in there, but listen, it's been my pleasure. So I'm only going to urge people to go out to. If you're in Brooklyn, you can go see this film, or if you're in Pittsburgh, it's a terrific. These two sister cities,
What's wonderful about Brooklyn is that we're going to have 8 of the people involved in the making of the film present.
That's
that night.
Great. That's great.
So, including the lead actor Alexander Hero, including the amazing cinematographer Aaron Hollander, who's been with me for about 12 years and is getting the acclaim of his career, and because it's a really good-looking film, if I do say so myself, but that's all Aaron's doing. And 3 and a bunch of other cast members who happen to be either in town or happen to live there. So 8 people will be present. So come, watch the film, hang with us, experience a roadshow epic. I have a knack for getting into fests that have the word river in them. I don't know what that's about, but I've gotten into a lot of river fests. But anyway, yeah.
Was there another
neither here nor there. River's Edge, River
I never
Run.
heard of that one.
River, a few other rivers, but I've gotten into a lot of river fests.
All right, well, it's going in my calendar. I'm going to make an attempt to come out to catch one of the screenings, but you're going to only be at Saturday one. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will only be there Saturday.
I understand. All right, so I'll try to come. Very good.
Yeah. So come out. You can see Adam Shardoff as well.
Now, it's 3 hours, black and white, sort of challenging people in all sorts of ways, neo-noir, and then Adam Shardoff's there. It's not.
Well, if you are open to the experience, I think you might fall into the critics believing that it flies right by, and I think that's the experience of a lot of people. So
right,
yeah, hopefully,
well said.
Hopefully that works. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. It's nice to catch up with you, and we'll do it again with your next project, which, as prolific as you are, I assume won't be too long from now.
I'm actually editing a film right now, so
it doesn't surprise me.
All right.
All righty.
Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you.